Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa salamu ala man ittaba al-huda. How are you? Are
Alhamdulillah,
you
it's my first time.
are you an Ahmadi?
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, brilliant. Go ahead. Most welcome. This is your first time, so you're most welcome. So, did you listen to our case?
Absolutely. I've not only listened to this case, I've listened to many cases in the past as well. Following your streams, following the conversation back and forth with our ulama, everything. So,
Okay, brilliant. So what do you think? Are we misrepresenting Mirza in any way when he said that these miracles are not real?
I will have to say one thing off the bat. I was a little bit
Yeah.
hurt. I like to see your comments in the chat, pushing back, telling people to be respectful. But in the same vein, if I could make one complaint as a visitor, as an invitee to your platform, you mentioned, you referred to our founder as a slimy character. I
Yes.
object against that characterization, and I think that goes against the rules of respectability. So we wouldn't call someone slimy. Well, at least I wouldn't. So I would just. That's one thing. That's the only complaint I have. The chatters, that's out of your control. So I understand if they're disrespectful, but from coming from
Yeah.
you, characterizing him as a slimy character, I think that's beneath you. So
Yeah.
that's the
Thank.
only
I mean,
complaint I have.
would you agree with me that it's hurtful and it's not decent language? Would you? I mean, you're claiming that, and I agree with you. Calling someone slimy character in vain or without reasons is
Well,
absolutely not.
in this
Yeah.
case, what I've noticed from a layman's perspective is just the way Imtiaz Bey. I mean, it seems like on the face of it, he's very well researched, which I respect
Yeah.
him for that. I think that
Mm,
that's a better approach in general.
mm.
But what I've noticed is that just the way he laid out the case, I think, was a little bit underhanded. Well, let me explain real quick. So what I mean by that is we
Yeah.
have
No.
a certain belief, we have a certain understanding of the clay bird phenomenon, the situation.
Before we get
Go
to the
ahead.
case, you made a point that I called him slimy character. The point I was leading to was that Mirza himself called people haram zada, harami, waladul zina, waladul haram,
I know of this back and
zurriyatul
forth.
bagaya.
Yes,
Yeah.
you've
So
brought
so
this.
brother, this calling someone haram zada, harami, waladul zina, or a bastard child or a child of zina. This is far worse than calling him slimy. So
So
I
you're
actually
stooping. So you're stooping to his level, if in your
no,
perspective.
I actually
Okay.
not because I didn't call anyone
So
haramzada
then
or
calling
harami.
someone slimy is respectful. If you're
Can
in
I
an
can I just
Oxford
make an
debate,
observation, guys? Sorry, Umer,
Yeah.
really appreciate you coming on. We understand that you didn't like how things were phrased, but we started off in the beginning by saying this is really about getting to the meat of the matter, the reality of what's going on. I
let's
actually
do it.
had your comment from previously starred to discuss if nobody came on, and that was your comment. You talked about not
Yes.
representing the Ahmadi case about the clay birds. You're here now, which is
Yes.
great. We've presented lots of information. You've had lots of information that's come from Brother Adnan and Brother Imtiaz, and what it's laying out basically is the principles, and the principles are that the miracles are the first brick of Islam, and believing in the unseen is necessary, and then this is the stamp of approval from Allah, and then we get this reference to the miracles of Isa Islam being this Amal Turb, a mesmerism, and that Isa Islam was an expertise in this, and that it's a way of putting the heat of one's soul into the inanimate objects, and it leads to some contradictions in statements, which was brought out for you. There were three main points. That the miracles were, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said that miracles were proven to support and prove the prophethood. But at the same time, he also said that there's nothing to do with prophethood and cannot be used to establish prophethood. The other point was that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said that the miracles are the proof of the truth, and also said that they're merely a play, deception, and falsehood. And the third point was that miracles are given to the prophets as a sign of the approval from Allah and support for them. And Mirza Ghulam also said at the same time that the Amal Turb from Isa Islam was a cause of him failing in his prophetic mission. So what we presented are, and there were references associated with these, we presented basically contradictions in terms of statements and actually a negation of the concept of miracles. So there's a lot to cover. So I think rather than talking about how we interact, let's talk about the meat of it, and we'll try and make our interactions better, inshallah. So we appreciate your
Inshallah.
advice. Yeah.
Inshallah. We will not use these terms for the
I
sake of the
appreciate it.
argument, for the sake of the discussion. Go ahead.
I appreciate it. So
Mhm.
this is how a layman would approach this topic. I'm not a scholar, by the way, just to give some pushback to all the chatters and sometimes I see the moderator, the Adnan and panelists in the past have alluded to us needing permission from our superiors. There's nothing like that. It's just a Saturday morning. I'm drinking coffee. It's about a snowstorm here on the East Coast. I'm just a regular MD guy. I'm not nothing special. This is how I approach this topic. Okay, so the basic, the main issue, the crux that we're talking about right now, is this story of the clay birds. Okay, so the clay bird situation. Now, just as a fundamental, this is something that I responded to someone in the chat earlier. When we look at this situation, we have a situation where a unnatural phenomena has taken place that's not mentioned anywhere in the Bible, first of all. So the clay birds being fashioned, becoming an actual bird, is nowhere mentioned. This is such a big miracle, and it's not mentioned anywhere in the Bible. That's just like the baseline right there. So, okay, so as an AMD, how do I juxtapose what you're alleging versus what our tafasir say? And so when I look at this, I come across an article, and of course we're gonna Google stuff. We're in the digital age, and I see we have a website. I recommend anyone who wants to learn more about our beliefs check out alhakam.org. Okay, so when I come on this website, I see that there's an article titled "Prophets of Allah, Jesus, Prophet of Allah sent to the lost tribes of Israel," dated July 14, 2023. And here it beautifully presents our case. And this comment that you highlighted of mine was my observation that Imtiaz had cherry picked in a kind of a way to present our view in this fashion. And it's a little bit underhanded. It's a little sly, I would say. Not slimy, a little sly. Why? Because why not just explain what we believe about this story? What is our belief? Why not go to our tafsir? Why not go to all of the bits? And this article beautifully summarizes all those. So I just want to real quick just say that what we believe that happened is not that something unscientific, unnatural happened where he took some clay birds, did some hocus pocus, and then they became actual birds and they flew. No, we take a different meaning. We say, listen, this is something not mentioned in the Bible, okay? It's nowhere mentioned in the Bible. But Allah is speaking to it in the Quran. And what can this mean? So that's where we look at the Arabic. Does the word khalq, can it mean other things? And this article, if you can pull it up on the screen, we can go one by one and deal with this properly. But I just want to kind of pause there and just let you know that we have a different understanding of this event. Why not present that? Why go this roundabout way, spending all this time? Why not just cut to the chase? And that's what I would like to present, is check out this article. We can go one by one. We're bringing up the different Quranic verses and dealing with this topic head on.
Okay, I have a question from you. Thank you so much for that clarification and for highlighting the article. Okay, I want to ask you a question. So you're saying that you have a naturalistic understanding of the birds and their formation, correct?
Yeah, we do not believe that clay birds that are made of clay were actually taken by Jesus, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam,
So
and
do you
became real birds.
okay? So do you believe, just like Mirza Ghulam Ahmad pointed out, that this was false life? This was not real life. The words are there. We're not misquoting him.
So what I believe is that these are birds that were clay birds, right? If it's a clay bird, it can't become a real bird. This is what we
Okay.
believe. Now, what has been said about the situation, let's look at it from Quran. Let's look at it if there's any other evidence out there. We don't find anything in the Bible, which is kind
Brilliant.
of, don't you, as a historian, do you think that's kind of a big, like, what do you think about that point? That
Okay,
such a big
brilliant.
miracle has never been referenced in the
Yeah.
Bible.
Yeah.
I'm just
Okay.
curious to your
No.
historian
Yeah.
sensibility.
It
What would you think
it
about that?
it has been referenced in apocryphal literature. We have the infancy gospel of James, where it is mentioned that Jesus, as a young child, as a youngster, made uh, uh, birds, and then he clapped, and all of them flew away. All of them flew away. Clearly, in the apocryphal gospels, this is not mesmerism, or this is not a naturalistic event. Even in the apocryphal literature, the reference we do find Jesus speaking from the cradle and basically making birds and make them fly away. Okay, this was not a naturalistic incident. This was supernatural.
Oh, so
Okay,
these are not
and
the. So wait. Just. I just want to. There's a lot of laymen here, and including me. I had to.
okay,
Literally
if
Google.
guys,
I had to
if you
Google what
remove,
apocryphal is. I had
yeah,
to Google,
okay,
and I'm
yeah,
looking at it. It says that it's
these
not
are
from the
not
canon.
canonical. Yeah, this is
Okay,
not
so
from the
just make
canon.
that clarification clear. I mean, you can
Yeah,
explain the point, but
yeah,
this is so.
it's
This
not.
is some
Yeah,
obscure. It's not like a actual. Like it's not from the canon.
no,
It's not
no,
what
brother.
every regular, everyday Christians believe.
All the Christian literature is obscure. It is dubious. All of it.
But this is
All
not
the
from the canon, right? There's a
no,
canon that was
yeah.
picked.
Yes, you
Okay.
absolutely. But that does not mean it cannot be true. Okay, if you guys can
Oh
remove
yeah.
the page,
I'm just.
if you can remove the page so that people can see us talking to each other. If you, yeah, that's it. So it's not canonical in the
Yeah.
Christian sense. Okay, but
Okay.
for us, as far as I'm concerned, the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of the infancy Gospel of James, okay, and the Shepherd of Hermas or Epistles of Barnabas, all of these non-canonical documents are as good are
It,
as four Gospels. Let me now bring. Let's make the conversation a bit
just the
more.
last thing on that point. Just the last thing on that point. But it's
Yeah,
still not a. It's not part of the main canon. So my point still stands that such a huge
brother.
miracle is not referenced in the main canonical every day. If you go to a Christian's house, you open their Bible, you're not going to find it. That's
Yes,
the point. So
yeah,
it's like an obscure thing. It's not a real like. It's not
No,
something that
it's
they're
obscure
taught
for.
from their when they're children up to when they get adults. They're not taught this in churches. They don't really. It's like an obscure, it's like a rare thing. It's not. It's a huge. This is a. Don't you think this is like? I mean,
Brother Omer,
if you saw someone take birds and make them into real birds, clay birds, like wouldn't you be like, holy crap? Like, how did he do that?
brother Omer, this is my field. I know what canonical is. I've debated Christians on this. I have a debate on this, the canon of the New Testament. I had this debate with a Christian scholar in South Africa. Go and watch my debate, and you will learn more about the Muslim view on Christian canon. Okay. Now coming back to the main issue. So the birds, you're saying they were not real birds. So you said Quran is our source of information, our source of inspiration. Correct? Would you agree with me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, what would you do with the miracle of Ibrahim, where Ibrahim wanted to strengthen his faith? He asked Allah for a sign. And Allah asked him, do you not believe? Do you not believe? He said, no, I do believe, but I want to strengthen my faith. So Allah tells him to kill a bird, okay, to slaughter a bird and put four pieces, pieces of the bird in different directions. And by the miracle of Allah, they will come together. And the bird, Ibrahim alayhi salam, did exactly that. The Quran describes it categorically in categorical terms. Okay, the bird came together and became alive in front of Ibrahim's eyes. This is Quran. So was this also mesmerism, or this was also not a miracle? And if it's not a miracle, how would that a trickery, an act of trickery, strengthen the iman of Ibrahim alayhi salam? Answer that question, please. It's in the Quran, by the way. Are you aware of it?
I just want to pause one sec. I want to go back to what I first started with. This is odd to me that we're talking about a situation. We're not even presenting how MDs actually view it. Like everyday MDs like me, how do we actually understand this scenario? So if I may just talk to the actual bird event with Hazrat Isa alayhi salam before we
I
go
just
to
gave you
another
a
event.
bird. I know. I just
why
gave
don't we
you a
talk
bird
about that
scenario.
Hazrat Isa alayhi salam with that? Like with the one that this whole conversation has been about.
But listen.
Give me 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes. Then we'll talk about Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. All right. Why are we
Okay.
going to another example without dealing with without even presenting the main example that we're on the topic of right now? So let me just, from the article, let me just explain to you.
Just before you start your time, Ahmed, I just want to, because I think one of the things we want to do is we want to make sure that we deal with the topic as well. So that we're laying down basic principles. So you said you watched some of the previous streams, and you must have heard us discuss with Brother Ahmed about what miracles are and what they believe and how they come across, because we have a difference on this perspective. And really, what Brother Ahmed said, and you're repeating, is that you believe you have a naturalistic worldview, and therefore you have to find alternative explanations for things that would be miraculous. And what you're going to do is you're going to present now your tafsirs from those. The question really is about, it's surprising you're bringing up the Bible, because it's not an evidence for us, and there's a great body of literature which is contemporary to the Bible that the Christians don't accept for no good reasons really that are presented, that that do refer to other things happening, but you're insisting on using the Bible as a source of evidence. It's not for us.
I did not use that as a source of evidence. I just pointed out that there is such a big miracle that's not mentioned anywhere.
Sure,
and so
that's what I mean. It
isn't that a point in and of itself kind of surprising?
It's mentioned in the Quran, brother. We don't need the Bible.
We're talking about a story that happened before the Quran, right? Before the Quran was revealed.
Yes. So Quran mentions it. Quran mentions it. The speaking of the cradle. For what? Jesus spoke from the cradle, which is a miracle. A child, a baby, a newborn baby doesn't speak. Okay. Jesus spoke from the cradle as a miracle. That's not in the canonical gospels. It's not there. You're going to reject it now? You're going to disbelieve in it? Absolutely not.
Let's keep focused. Yeah. Let's actually deal with the actual situation, the story. Like, what do regular Ahmadis believe happened in this situation? If it wasn't whatever the situation is. So that's what I would like to present to you and your viewers, that this is how when we read our Quran and we read the tafsir, whenever
you
I
already
read the Quran,
presented.
I always have the 5-volume tafsir open.
Okay.
So I'm always
you already presented your argument. You already presented your argument.
We didn't even talk about what we actually believe, and you didn't either. That's what I'm surprised that if Ijtihad went through all this trouble, he didn't even bother to explain.
You already said that.
Stance. Like, no charitable explanation of this is their stance, and then you can talk about it, but you didn't even present our stance. That's where I was kind of confused.
We have actually, Brother Omer, we have presented your views in the past streams. We discussed this at length.
About this story?
Yeah, about this story, yes. We have discussed it with the missionaries in the past streams. We discussed it for a very long time, where they actually had ample opportunity to come and present the views. They did, and we rebutted the views using the Quran and the Sunnah. Now, I want you to very quickly ponder upon this. I'm going to read the Quran to you now, the translation, yeah? The Prophet Abraham asks, "My Lord,
why are you going to Prophet Abraham? Why don't we deal with this one?
Tell you why.
In the Quran, this is mentioned.
I'll tell you why. If you give me a chance very quickly, I won't be long, so that we can have a conversation. My Lord, show me how you give life to the dead. Are you listening? Show me how you give life to the dead. He said, do you not believe? Do you not believe? He said, I do, but this is so my heart may be calm. He said, Allah said to him, then take 4 birds and draw them to you. Then place a part of them on each mountain. Okay? Then call them, they shall come to you in a rush. Okay? This is the Quran. Okay? I think there was a mistake in the translation I read. 1 second. Okay? Let me just quickly get the correct translation of this. But by the way, this is from the Quran. Okay? And
can you tell me what verse you're reading?
Okay, I'm telling you right now. Yeah. Okay. This is Al-Baqarah 260. Okay. My Lord, show me how you give life to the dead. He, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, said, do you not believe? He, Ibrahim, said, yes, I believe. But to assure my heart, he said, take 4 birds, then cause them to incline towards you, then slaughter them, cut them into pieces. Okay, and then put a portion of them on every hill, and call them, they will come to you in haste. And know that Allah is Almighty, All-Wise. Why is Allah mentioning this? Allah is Almighty, All-Wise. Allah can do anything. Okay, so this was a miracle of Ibrahim alayhi salam mentioned in Surah Baqarah 260. Is there? Okay, and if you want me to read the Arabic, I can do that. Okay, so that we can do word by word translation.
Is it Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? Is it Alam Tara ila al-Lazi? That's not it.
No. وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّي أَرِنِي كَيْفَ تُحْيِي الْمَوْتَى أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّي أَرِنِي كَيْفَ تُحْيِي الْمَوْتَى when Ibrahim said to Allah, "Oh Lord, show me how you bring dead back to life." قَالَ أَوَلَمْ تُؤْمِنْ Allah said, "Do you not believe?" قَالَ بَلَى He said, "Yes, I do believe. وَلَكِنْ لِيَطْمَئِنَّ قَلْبِي But I want my heart to be content. This is for my contentment." قَالَ فَخُذْ أَرْبَعَةً مِنَ الطَّيْرِ And take 4 birds into your hand. فَصُرْهُنَّ إِلَيْكَ ثُمَّ جَعَلْ عَلَى كُلِّ جَبَلٍ مِّنْهُنَّ Okay, and then take them and put each part of them in different mountains. Okay, juz'an, part of the bird. Okay, basically the bird is already split. Okay, ثُمَّ عَدُهُنَّ Okay, and then call them to call them to yourself. Okay, يَأْتِينَكَ سَعْيًا They will come to you in haste. وَعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ And know that Allah is powerful and wise, or Allah is almighty and wise. This I did word by word translation from Arabic to English. This is my translation. Okay, I didn't even read the translation below, right? Okay, so now my brother, this is about bringing dead back to life. The question of Ibrahim was, how do you bring dead back to life? That doesn't happen in the natural world. It doesn't happen. So this was clearly Allah bringing dead birds back to life to show Ibrahim so that he can be content. His heart can be content with Iman. Okay, this is a response to all the Ahmadis in the world who are watching right now, so that they can know that Mirza either did not know the Quran, didn't read the Quran carefully, or he contradicted the Quran directly, my brother. Okay, so we have no horse in the race. We are not in this so that we can degrade Mirza, or we can break your hearts and insult you, or somehow belittle you. This is simply about your Jannah and your Jahannam. This is about your guidance. Okay, any sincere person who takes the Quran, who listens to the Quran and understands it word by word, and still insists otherwise, then only Allah can open hearts. Allah can guide people. Only Allah can guide people. Over to you.
So, I really, one thing that always stands out, I think you have a really nice way of words and speaking. So I have to commend you. I think you're very charismatic. So I think you're following, and you're able to grow it because of this quality of yours. Now, I just want to point out, you've pulled out a verse that in our 5-volume commentary takes several pages to unpack, and that's a really long. And so this is why I mentioned, like, hey, before we jump to another point, which you have the right to make this point, why don't we just at least explain? Like, I know you're saying that in the past you've dealt with this case. I don't recall that. I wasn't there on every stream, but we're here now, and I'm providing you. So you've talked to our ulama who know way more than me. All the references, everything. I'm just presenting a layman's and Ahmadi's view of how we would deal with this. And for me, it's very simple, because it's a theme, a topic that comes up again and again. And the moderator, Imran Bhai, he explained it really succinctly. Like, he said that we have a natural basic difference of opinion on what a miracle is and what's possible, what's not possible, right? And so if we have that, then that is going to portray in several of these conversations. It's going to be an underlying theme, but it's still relevant to present the case in any way. Now, what I said is, listen, Let us explain how we believe or interpret this event, and then we could take tangents on other verses where birds have been also mentioned, death has been mentioned, and so on and so forth. So I appreciate you bringing that up. It's a
Could I
very
just,
interesting verse.
Brother Amir, before you start, because I think I want to give you, I'm going to start timing this because I think I want the conversation to move forward. Just there's a few points that we need to underline before you move on to this, because sometimes we do this, we go really into the details and we forget the bigger points that are behind. Yeah. So what I'd like to do, if that's okay, do you believe that these things were Amal Turb? These were mesmerism by Isa alayhi salam.
So what we believe is sometimes illusions have been played in the people in the past, and they were more susceptible to them because they did not have the amount of knowledge that society has today. So, for example, today, if I saw a hologram Tupac, I would understand that that's not real. That's not a real person. That is, in fact, a hologram. So
So
that's
just to clarify that, because I understand the point you're making, but with this particular example that you're about to explain to us, do you believe that the clay birds coming to life, this was a mesmerism, not a real thing, but something that was like a hypnosis?
yes. So I believe that it is not something that actually physically happened because it's unscientific. It goes against the physical laws that Allah has made this world with, and He doesn't need to break those laws to make a point.
Okay,
brother. But then,
sorry, go on, please.
I just read a verse on the Quran, and it says that it was breaking the physical laws. The fact that Ibrahim wanted a sign was not about physical laws. How is that a sign? If it's under the physical laws, how is that a sign?
If you're gonna go back to that, you're not gonna indulge with the direct verse that we're talking about. I'll humor you. Let's talk about it then. I don't mind talking about that verse. I'm not trying to duck out of the verse.
I don't need to go back to it.
Why don't we talk about the clay birds?
I'm only raising it. I'm raising an example from the Quran of a miracle.
By the way,
yeah,
you have the right to.
So when Allah says He brought these birds split into pieces, split literally because the word juz is there, juz. Okay, go and place the juz of it. Okay, juz'an. Okay, it says juz'an thumma adu'uhunna. Okay, then call them towards yourself. Ya'tinaka sa'yan. They will come to you with haste, with speed. Okay, so these are parts of the birds split up, put on 4 mountains. Okay, and the birds came together and came running back to Ibrahim alayhi salam. Okay, this is not under the physical laws. If it was, then Ibrahim.
What is the word in Arabic to cut? What is the word being used in Arabic to cut it?
It says min hunna juz'an. Okay, well, it says thumma ij'al ala kulli jabalin. Okay, then in different mountains. Okay, put parts from them. Min hunna juz'an. Okay, from them parts. Literally, I'm translating it word by word. Min hunna, from them, juz'an, parts. Thumma, okay, udu'unna, then call them. Ya'tinaka sa'yan. They will come to you with haste, speed. Okay, this is the Quran, brother, word by word.
Yeah.
This cannot be played in any other naturalistic way to argue, or this was within the laws of nature. We are not a bunch of fools. 1,400 years of scholarship of Islam, they were not a bunch of fools. All the Arabists, all the poets, all the literary pillars and giants we had in our past, all the authors of dictionaries and all the memorizers of pre-Islamic poetry, or the Sab'a Mu'allaqat, all the great giants of the Arabic language who Mirza could not even match even fractionally. Yeah, they are the ones who had this understanding of the Quran, that these are supernatural events the Quran is describing. Another point I want to very quickly raise is Mirza makes a connection between the wood and clay. Wood and clay. Clay, he's referring to the birds made by Isa alayhi salam. Wood, he's talking about the staff of Moses. He's talking about the staff of Moses because it became a serpent. Okay, so the point Mirza was making was that this was not real life. The question is, if the staff of Musa alayhi salam did not become a serpent in real life, okay, Okay, why did all these magicians bow in sajda and then argued with the Pharaoh that this is not magic, this is something else? Mirza calls it Amal Turb. Okay, Mirza calls it mesmerism or trickery. Okay, but the Quran calls it the miracle of Musa alayhi salam. Okay, and all of these magicians, they gave their lives willingly. They died. They died. They were happily crucified. Not, I mean, I'm not saying they were happy laughing, but they gave their lives willingly because they believed. The iman was so firm. Their iman was so firm within a short span of time that they could not see anything else but a miracle of this magnitude, that they were willing to give their life for it. Brother, this people don't do that for amal tirb or mesmerism or hypnotism or trickery.
All right, so let's go back to the Arabic then, okay? So what
Yeah.
I've done here is I've pulled up your just a Quran.com. I don't know exact translation you're using. If you want to give that to me, I can pull
Yeah,
that
it's
up. I have a
Quran.com.
generic Quran.com on the right
Yeah.
hand of my screen, and then I have our 5-volume commentary on the left. And what I'm
Okay.
seeing right away is just on the English translation, there's a difference in how you're interpreting in Quran.com and how we're interpreting. And what is that
Okay.
word? So it says our translation says, so Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, he answered, Allah, he answered, take 4 birds and make them attached to thyself, then put each of them on a hill, then call them, then they will come to thee in haste. So we are not mentioning cutting up, okay? We're
No,
mentioning attached.
the
That's
word part
the
is not there.
translation.
Which translation are you reading? Which one? Which one in particular?
So ours is a 5-volume commentary. And
The Ahmadi one? The Ahmadi
yes,
one?
yes.
Okay, okay,
So
brilliant,
I
brilliant.
have both of yours. I have both
Okay,
of yours. So
no,
it means that there's an Arabic word that we're looking
No.
at differently.
Brilliant, brilliant. This is amazing
Yeah.
that you pulled it out. Can you read that translation in English? The Ahmadi
Yeah.
one.
So
Read it.
and remember when Abraham said, "My Lord, show me how thou givest life to the dead." He said, "Hast thou not believed?" He said, "Yes, but I ask this that my heart may be at rest." He answered, "Take 4 birds, make them attached to thyself, then put each of them on a hill, then call them. They will come to thee in haste, and know that Allah is mighty and wise."
Wallahi, this is incorrect translation. There's an entire word missing. The word Jews is not there in your translation. Jews means part.
So wait,
It
let me
means
read the
part.
Arabic. Wait, you're saying
Yeah.
it's not. You're saying the Arabic is not there, or the English translation not there? Because
I'm
the
saying
Arabic
the
we can't
Arabic.
change,
I'm saying the word Jews has been completely not translated in your translation. It's not there.
Well, wait, hold on. Let's not jump to conclusions. You're
Do
not
you know
seeing the
Urdu?
text.
Do you know Urdu?
Juz is mentioned in the translation, in the tafsir, in the commentary right below. So let's not jump to conclusions.
No. What does your translation say, brother? Your translation.
Let me talk. Let me explain.
Yeah.
So the important words, under the important words that we've highlighted in our tafsir about this verse, we've mentioned several of the words. One of them including juz. And so this is what it says. It says juz is derived. Juz each is derived from jaza. They say jaza shay, i.e., he divided the thing into parts. So juz means part or portion or division of a thing. And this is from Lane. So Lane's, Lane's
Yes.
lexicon, that's where it's coming from.
Yeah, Edward William Lane's lexicon, yes.
Exactly. So again, it says that juz is derived from jaza. This, they say jaza shay. He divided the thing into parts.
Yes.
So we do mention this. Now,
but it's not. But it's not in your translation. The translation you read of the verse is not there. That part is not there.
So the commentary expands on it, right? So this is what the commentary says.
But I wonder
this is what the commentary says.
But brother, 1 second. I wonder why Qadiani translators would leave such an important part of the verse out and not translate it, and then explain it. And okay,
they translated it.
When you actually read the translation where there was no mention of Jews, okay, then you're saying it's in the commentary. Which one is it? Is it in the commentary or in the translation?
So So this is a recurring theme that I'm seeing, that we're just jumping to what we think the other is saying, but we're not letting the others say what they're actually saying. So this is a repeating common theme that's I kind of object to in general in any conversation. So let me explain what it says. It says this verse provides another illustration of the process of life and death arranged by Allah in this world. In other words, the rise of a fallen nation is further discussed. So Ibrahim alayhi salam asked God to show him how he caused the people to come to life after they had become fallen and degraded. So this is the general theme that we're saying. Now, to go to the point where it's mentioned about the birds, the verse proceeds to describe a vision of Ibrahim alayhi salam by asking him to take 4 birds. So he's seeing a vision, and he's asked to take the 4 birds. God hinted that
brother. It says, وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّي أَرِنِي, show me, not vision. Okay, arini means show me. Okay.
Yes, we're not. It says that in our translation too, so we're not debating that. We're not. That's not a point of this discrepancy.
Yeah.
But we're saying this whole event was in a vision. It took place during a vision.
No, there's no indication of that. You're just now imposing something on the Quran that's not there. There's no indication of that. And in vision, how would Ibrahim ask for his heart?
Does it say that there wasn't a vision? Does the Quran say this wasn't a vision?
No,
okay, so it doesn't. So it doesn't say it's not a vision either, right?
No, brother Omer, approach to discussing. So you could say that. Does it say he's not banging 3 drums?
Yeah.
Does it say that he's not banging 3 drums? It doesn't say that.
Well, then this goes back to our fundamental. This goes back to our fundamental understanding of how life works.
Brother,
this goes back to our fundamental understanding about life works.
Because there's an approach, brother. Here, that's
no. This goes back to your understanding that.
Let me explain something. Go ahead. So there is an approach here that is problematic. So you've already agreed.
In your opinion. And I'll explain why I don't think it is problematic.
Of course.
So go ahead.
What I'm giving you is my opinion, and you feel free to disagree. So the first thing here is that you've agreed that Amal Turb is something that is not real. It's something that's sort of a type of hypnotism. People think it may have happened, but it didn't happen. And the reason for this is that you as Ahmadi, you are a naturalist in your approach to whatever happens. The other question that I want to follow up before we come to how you're dealing with this verse. Do you agree with Mirza Ghulam Ahmad when he says that Amal Turb is something that is disgusting and detesting?
In general,
something that is disgusting and
looks down upon people who do illusions and trick people and get them to do stuff that they shouldn't be doing.
So let me give you an example. Let me read the reference that Brother Imtiaz gave earlier. He said, anyway, these hypnotical expeditions of Christ, who he's talking about the Amal Turb, were appropriate in his time due to certain expedients. And opposite to what common folk think, don't forget that it's not a thing that is worth doing. Had this humble one, to referring to himself, did not consider this act disgusting and detesting, I wouldn't not have been less than Isa ibn Maryam in showing these wonders with the favor and ability from Allah. So do you regard, as an Ahmadi, in your position, do you think that these acts are disgusting acts, detested acts?
So I just want to take a step back, and I feel like you mentioned that we're going too much in the weeds sometimes. When I step back, I'm like, wait. What is the point we're discussing here? Is it a miracle? Is it not? Is it?
No, that's not the point.
Is it a mesmerism? Is it not? No, I'm just going through my thought process. I'm just going through my thought process. When I approach this, when Ahmadi layman approaches this topic, we approach it differently than you. You guys are approaching it from, hey, this guy is a false messiah, and let's find a mistake. Let's find a mistake in his argument.
No, that's not the.
When I approach this, I look at the situation. What is this event about? Why should Muslims care? Why are we talking about the death of birds or bringing them to life or whatever? Why does it matter? And that's where I like to approach things from, is like, what is being discussed here? What is this Quranic verse about? What is the practical lesson for Muslims here? And does a miracle, a fantasy version of it, fulfill that practical requirement, or does it not? So this is how we approach things in general. So we're looking at it and asking. So I'm saying you're asking the wrong question, essentially. And what I feel like we should be doing is talking about the actual event What is the purpose of the event? I said that we should do that about the original event we're talking about, which is the clay birds. But Adnan Bhai has now diverted to another event, which I'm fine to discuss as
No,
well.
I
But
haven't.
those are two
No,
different
no.
events,
Uh,
and the underlying
Mike,
theme
can I
is
just speak for 2
Yeah,
minutes?
brother
Yeah.
Imtiaz, please.
Imtiaz has been waiting, so let's hear from him as well.
yes. Go ahead.
So, first of all, Umair, welcome to the stream because this is first time we are interacting, and we welcome you on the stream. And Umair, look, you may have felt this way, but I swear by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, I never ever in a single instance try to misquote Mirza Ghulam or try to misrepresent his point of view. And for example, right now, if anybody, inshallah, or you ask me the question that how many interpretation of this bird's miracle are given by Mirza Ghulam, inshallah, I'll put all of them on the screen. And all of them, brother, they go back to Amal Tirb. Okay, that's the main point. Now, because Adnan Bhai brought up that point, and you said that, you know, why we basically discussing the miracle of Ibrahim alayhi salam, because that's a separate thing. And please be with me. This is Ruhani Khazain, volume 3, page number 506. And I want Umair you to please listen very carefully. It is page 506, Ruhani Khazain, volume 3. Look, it says that याद रखना चाहिए कि जो कुरान करीम में 4 परिंदों का जिक्र लिखा है और इनको अज्जाए मुतफर्रिका यानी जुदा जुदा करके 4 पहाड़ों पर छोड़ा गया था, फिर वो बुलाने से आ गए थे, ये भी अमल तिर्ब की तरफ इशारा है. So my brother,
Unbelievable.
we are not here, brother, look, wait, Umar, wait, look, we are not here to deceive anyone. Anybody can open Ruhani Khazain, volume 3, page 506. Mirza Ghulam clearly said that either the incident or the event in the Quran of the 4 birds, he said that is also an indication about the Amal Tirb. So the whole point is again same. So what you need to explain to us, brother Umair, is, do you believe? That's the key question. I'm very surprised that every Ahmadi is avoiding this key question. Do you believe that the miracles of Isa alayhi salam, they were Amal Tirb? And now we are not going to define what Amal Tirb is. We are going to give you everything from your Hakam and Adal. This is Mirza Ghulam. So according to Mirza Ghulam, either the example of the 4 birds or this miracle of the bird of Isa alayhi salam, both of them are Amal Tirb. And listen very carefully, brother. In Amal Tirb, Mirza Ghulam has clearly mentioned that those birds, they don't become alive. Rather, it is just a deception that the viewers, the beholder sees them alive, but they are still dead. And look at this one. Then he compared them with the calf of Samari. He said that the calf of Samari and the birds being alive, he compared both of them. So do you believe, brother Umair, let's be very honest to each other, brother, that do you believe that the miracle of Isa alayhi salam can be compared to a disbeliever, Samari's calf? Can it be compared with that? And last point is this, brother. When you came in, you made a very strange observation. You said that why this is not in the Bible. You should not have asked this question at all because you are not a Christian. You are a Muslim. For both of us, apparently, because you claim to be Ahmadi Muslim, okay? For you, Quran is your primary text. And when something is in the Quran and you're asking us to bring evidence for this thing from the Bible, that does not make any sense at all, at all. So please take that comment because people are really surprised that how somebody who's claiming to be a Muslim asking us to substantiate something of the Quran from the Bible. Please take it back. That doesn't seem good. And now
So
again,
I,
we may have lost the actual point. I want to the actual point, brother, is Amal Tirb. Do you believe that the miracles of Isa alayhi salam, they were Amal Tirb? That's the main question, brother.
and I have one quick observation to make very quickly. Now Mirza, when he said that the coming back of the birds to Ibrahim was also Amal Tirb, now he's saying that Allah did Amal Tirb with Ibrahim. This is an observation we all need to make, that when Isa alayhi salam was doing it, he was doing it for people. He was mesmerizing people. Okay. But now Mirza is claiming, because there is no one else between Allah and Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ibrahim asked Allah directly that he wants to see a sign so that his heart can be content. And Mirza claims that Allah deceived Ibrahim. Okay, Allah did Amal Turb, which is mesmerism, on Ibrahim to show him a sign, as if Allah couldn't bring the birds back to life. Now, this is actually undermining Allah as well. This is undermining the abilities of Allah. And then, amazingly, at the end of the word, at the end of the verse, at the very end, what does Allah say? Wa'alam. Know, anna Allah azizun hakim. Know that Allah is all powerful and wise. Okay, Allah is almighty and wise. Where is almighty if this is mesmerism that any Hindu, Jew, or an atheist can do? Mirza said, Amal Turb is anyone is capable of it. You don't even need to be righteous. You don't need to be anyone special to do Amal Turb, which is mesmerism as he describes it himself. Now, Allah, when Mirza says, this indictment alone makes Mirza a disbeliever. This alone, this statement about this miracle of Ibrahim alayhi salam alone, when he said this is Amal Turb, he's saying Allah did Amal Turb, which means Allah mesmerized Ibrahim alayhi salam. And Allah is not actually Aziz and Hakim. Allah is not powerful. Allah cannot bring the birds back to life because he had to do Amal Turb, which is mesmerism. Okay? This is unbelievable. This is absolutely mind-blowing, shocking. How can the Ahmadis and the Qadianis believe in this? How can you even believe in this? Doesn't make sense. Completely, directly contradicts the Quran. And you guys, to save this guy, you will put your lives at risk. You will go to Jahannam for this guy who's clearly contradicting the Quran. So this is very disturbing.
Okay, so I think so. I appreciate both of your responses, and I appreciate the passion and the emotion behind it too, because we are dealing with the akhirah, and we're talking about the personal belief of people, and religion is the most personal belief that we'll hold. So it's very important not to lead people astray. So I understand the emotion behind both of yours case that was explained. Now, I looked up Amal Turb. I think it's important to at least define what it is for the layman. And actually, interestingly enough, I found a couple of mentions of it through our alislam.org. I made a search for this word, and I found several different documents that have it. And actually, one of them is it's a Tadkira book, the English PDF version, and I see there's a note here by my great-grandfather. So I am the great-grandson of Jalaluddin Shams, by the way, just for historical context. It doesn't mean I'm special or anything, but there's a note here by him. So in 1891, there's a few mentions here in Tadkira. The first one is that I'm seeing in this document is 1891, where he said, I have named mesmerism as Amal Turb, which Hazrat Masih alayhi salam, the Messiah, also practiced to some degree. This name was revealed to me, and concerning its wonders, I received a revelation. هذا هو ترب الذي لا يعلمون. Okay, that this Arabic, this is the Amal Turb of the mystery of which people of the present time have no knowledge. And this is Izalai Ozaham, page 312, footnote, Rohani Khazain, volume 3, page 259. So the note here by my great-grandfather is, according to the lexicons, Turb means of the same age or similar, but the word may also be related to Turb, meaning clay. So the Promised Messiah ﷺ says that the word Turb is derived, and I think this is where the misspelling or the mistranslation, maybe if we were to give Imtiaz by some benefit of the doubt, this is probably where it came from, to what Adnan Bhai had pointed out at the beginning. So the word Turb is derived from Turb, and Turbat Shah, the Arabic Shay. The Arabic it's hard to read here. So Tarbush Shay, okay? According to Arabs, means that thing which is created with it. So Talib has said, Turb to something is that which resembles it. Therefore, the clay has been called Turb because it shares certain qualities of time or characteristics with heavens. In the beginning, the earth was created together with the heavens, and both resemble each other's as forms of the creation of God. And this is also Anjami Atham, page 262, 263, Rani Khazan, volume 11, same pages. So according to this, the revelation indicates that this knowledge is earthly and not heaven. So it's earthly knowledge, not heaven. Only those who have a small share of spirituality employ it. The Promised Messiah also says that, like the revelation that he got from this. So this goes on to basically say that it's mentioned something that happened within a certain time, and it goes back to the corollary I made with something that, if it goes to the basic point of contention between us, how do we view miracles of the past? Because certainly if today someone was making birds, would you not agree, if someone out there on planet Earth right now took a clay bird and made it into a real bird, wouldn't it be on every single YouTube short, every single TikTok? Wouldn't it go viral? Wouldn't it be like, this guy is doing something that nobody else has done in this era?
Great point. You just raised an absolutely amazing point, and this is our argument. Why is it in the Quran? If it was just an ordinary act, just like Mirza claimed, that Amal Turb, any atheist, any Jew, any Hindu can do it. You don't even need to be righteous. If it was something so ordinary, any human being could do it. Okay, why is it in the Quran? That's my point. That's my point. Just like you said, wouldn't it be on TikTok and on social media? It would be a sensation, right? Okay.
Yeah.
The fact that it's in the Quran shows us that it was a sensational event. It was a special occurrence. That's why Allah mentions them for special reasons, to make special points. And this is what Mirza acknowledged, that miracles are the first brick of Islam. Miracles are the first brick. And then he goes on to contradict himself that, oh, you know what? These miracles were not actually real. This was mesmerism. And
No. So we believe that miracles can be something that's so obvious that if I just take a bird right now, a clay bird right now, if I just took a clay bird and I did something and it became an actual bird and flew away on this stream, like, that is a version of a miracle. But when we look at a miracle, we think about, okay, what is the practical meaning of this miracle? And what is the naturalistic explanation, in the words of Imran Bhai, that can
David Copperfield,
square the peg?
So David Copperfield making the Eiffel Tower disappear is a miracle for you, yeah?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that
Brilliant point.
scenario, so I can't answer directly to that. But anything that David Copperfield does,
David Copperfield, in front of millions of people, made large buildings disappear.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. I've never heard about that. I think that's
TV.
hard to believe.
I'm telling you, I've seen it. It was on TV. Widely
You were
published.
there?
I've seen it.
On TV, we saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Okay, so on TV, first of all, on TV, you're just looking at the lens, whatever the lens is showing. So I can't really
the question is this: would you regard this as being a miracle?
The fashioning of birds into clay birds into real birds.
David Copperfield making the Eiffel Tower disappear.
Let me look up David Copperfield, and I've seen some of his videos on YouTube Shorts where he does some magic card trick, and to me, whatever he does is in that realm.
Thank you. So what you are saying is that the things that the magicians do, the modern day magicians, you regard that as being miracles.
So I can't. First of all, you just brought up Copperfield, all right? I don't know
because of the principle that you raised. Because you raised the principle that this is earthly things, not anything else, and it's something that appears to the people, and it's not something that is outside of natural laws. Just
No,
like
we should keep focused. What is the word of the Prophet ﷺ when he talked about this? He
no, but
said,
Umer, you're
the word
avoiding the
turb.
question.
No, we're staying focused.
1 second, Umer, 1 second. Because what you did before was you defined something without giving any extra information. The definition of Amal Turb is not the issue at the moment. It's something that is not. You said
It's
that
not
it's
an issue. I agree, but we
1
should at
second.
least define it, right?
Yeah,
From
but you
our
need to answer.
perspective.
But you're avoiding the question I'm asking you with all respect. Yeah, the
What
question
am
I'm
I
asking
avoiding?
you is: do you believe that the miracle that the people who are magicians today, who do these feats of making Eiffel Tower disappear or card tricks, whatever they may be, you regard this as being miracles alongside things like Amal
I
Turb?
don't, because for us, there has to be a practical context for what the thing that is being shown or the lesson that is being drawn upon is there. David Copperfield does stuff for money, right? That's his purpose.
No,
He's
but the
not doing
action, we're
it. He's
talking
not a
about the
representative
action.
of God.
But you're saying the action. So now you're saying, because now you've changed, because you're saying
No,
it's
no,
not the
no.
action.
I'm
You're
not. I'm
saying,
telling you what I believe.
Umair,
I'm
Umair, I
not changing
understand.
anything.
I understand. Because now
You brought up David
Umair, listen
Copperfield.
to
I
me 1
haven't.
second. Just be calm. Yeah.
Okay.
You've gone from saying we're talking about the act of moving of the clay birds, the act of the magicians today who are making things disappear like buildings and planes and all sorts of things. We're talking about those acts. Now, are those acts Amal Turb? Now you've said you've
No,
moved it.
because if we look at the definition of Turb, we're talking about something that is clay. So
No, 1 second, brother. Because we're in the quote from Ghulam Mirza Ahmed, he talks about wood.
here,
And in the quote from
point?
Ghulam Mirza Ahmed, he also says that everything that
All
Isa
right, can you
Islam did.
provide me the reference
Yeah, we
so I
can.
can pull it up?
Well, yeah, absolutely, we can give it to you now. Let me just quickly find the what brother brother Imtiaz had earlier on. Just give me
I
1
put on the
second.
screen, no problem. I put on the screen. Yeah.
Brother Imtiaz, I think you had a point to make as well. I think
Yeah.
you had your hand up.
Yeah, inshallah. I just put the reference on the screen, so because he wants to see. So yeah, this is on the screen right now.
So this is clarifying for you. This is from Ruhani Khuzain, volume 3, page 256. But it needs to be remembered that such an animal which is made out of clay or wood and the warmth of the soul through Amal Turb transferred to it doesn't actually become alive, rather it continues to remain lifeless and inanimate, and it's only the warmth of the soul of the doer which makes it move by acting as a fuel. So it's not to do with clay, because it's talking about something other than clay.
And 1 second, hold on. When Mirza claimed that Allah did Amal Turb, okay,
Yes.
to show Ibrahim show Ibrahim the birds. Now apply this very definition to Mirza's claim that the coming back to life of the birds was Amal Turb, and this is how it was done. This in itself is Kufr Akbar. It takes anyone outside of Islam, if you know Allah and His Tawheed, okay, that Amal Turb is से अपनी रूह की गर्मी इसको पहुंचाई जाए तो दर हकीकत जिंदा नहीं होता बल्कि बदस्तूर बेजान और जमात है, सिर्फ आमिल की रूह की गर्मी बारूद की तरह इसको जुम्बिश में लाती है. So now we have to apply this to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because there Allah is doing Amal Turb as Mirza claimed. Okay, so Mirza shoots Mirza himself. Okay, Mirza is the biggest enemy of Mirza himself. Okay, and this is the problem. I mean, when we debate with the Christians, you know, we don't need the Quran. The Bible is the biggest enemy of Christianity and the doctrine of the Trinity and the divinity of Jesus Christ. All the beliefs can be refuted by themselves. So Mirza refutes and he self-destructs. So brother, I think Brother Umair, if there's nothing more to say on this, we can move on.
There's a lot to say on this, but you're controlling the narrative. Like when your elaborate point that you just made, you referenced
Brother Umair, I haven't
Ibrahim alayhi salam story again, but
in the last half an hour, I haven't
once in this half an hour did you allow me to present our belief about the story of the
Brother Umair, you spoke for Brother Umair, don't be unjust.
But did you allow me to present our understanding of this event?
What have you been doing for the last half an hour? What have you been doing for the last half an hour?
Responding to your objections.
So who's stopping you from presenting your view?
Responding to your tangentials and objections.
Okay, so you want to present your view now? We'll give you 2 minutes. Go ahead, present your view. What is your view? Present it.
All
2
right,
minutes.
All right.
Start now.
I appreciate it. Hold on. All right. Okay. So the Holy Quran states in Surah Al Imran, I will fashion out for you a creation out of clay after the manner of a bird. So this is reading from the article. We must remember that there is no mention of this in the Bible. Of course, we discussed that. There's in the canonical there isn't. So the majority of Christians who live and breathe like the majority of people don't believe in this. And to Imtiaz's point, we only call this out because it's a strange fact. It's not something that we're like we don't believe the Bible, but of course, this is a strange phenomenon. That's such an important miracle has not been mentioned by Christians. So we're just pointing that out. Now, the word khalq does not solely mean to create. And a study of the Arabic language reveals that the language itself is extensive. So the words don't just have a single meaning. So the attribution of khalq as creation has been exclusively used for Allah in the Holy Quran. Exclusively. No other person has actually created something in the Quran. So in this context, with this in mind, we should study this verse. I come to you with a sign from your Lord, which is that I will fashion out for you a creation out of clay after the manner of a bird. Then I will breathe into it a new spirit, and it will become a soaring being by the command of Allah. Surah Al Imran, chapter 3. For us, it's verse 50. So when we read this full verse of the Holy Quran and consider what it implies for a prophet of God, whose duty it is to bring man closer to Allah. And this is important because miracles should have a practical meaning. Like, why did this happen? What is the practicality of it? So it becomes really clear that Jesus alayhi salam gave spiritual training to ordinary human beings. This is where we differ. We think it's a spiritual coming alive. So these people soared in their spirituality. And this means men of humble origin possessed something within. And it was only after meeting with the Prophet Hazrat Isa alayhi salam and accepting his message that they underwent a spiritual transformation.
Time's up.
And this is where we talk about in Tafsir al-Saghir, by the way.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much for that.
Can I?
Yeah, you can. Very quickly, I just want to make one point. I'll come back to you. Yeah. You said Allah does not mention the word Khaliq for anyone else in the Quran. Okay, Surah Al-Mu'minun, verse 14. Okay, Surah Al-Mu'minun, Surah 23, verse 14. Check it out. Allah says, فَتَبَارَكَ أحسن الخالقين فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين, that so blessed is Allah, the best of creators. That means there are creators who create things not like Allah, okay, but they make things. But Allah is the best of makers. Allah is acknowledging the existence of other creators, but they are not divine creators. They are not like Allah. They do create things, but Allah is the best of them.
They created YouTube.
Allah is,
you're a creator. You're a creator.
Brother.
You
I'm reading the Quran.
Creators,
brother Omer, I'm reading the Quran. Are you blind? Can you not see what I'm reading? Allah is saying.
Bring it down a notch. You don't have to accuse me of being blind.
Omer, you're interrupting.
Keep it civil.
One way of
keeping
it down is if you.
I've made my point. Allah says, "Ahsanul khaliqeen," the best of creators. Khaliqeen is plural. Okay, khalaqa. Okay, khaliqun and khaliqeen is plural. Allah is saying the best of khaliqeen. Now that's the answer to your question. Over to you, Imtiaz bhai.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So the first point Brother Umair mentioned, he said that the reason we point out to the Bible, you can start inshallah my time, no problem inshallah. You can start my time.
Okay.
Yes.
So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So Brother Umair, you said that the only reason you pointed out or you pointed to the Bible because this was something very strange. This does not still explain. There's no reason for a Muslim when Quran is being quoted and they claim to consider Quran as the superior authority over all the previous books. You cannot justify in any way, shape, or form that after we quoted something from the Quran, why did you say that why it is not in the Bible? You do not have any justifiable explanation for this. Let's be on this one. Secondly, you said that there has to be a practicality for the miracle. Mirza Ghulam himself, your founder, the one who is an evidence for you, said that miracles are given so people can know that this person is from God and his teachings are from God. This is the purpose of the miracle, not given by us, given by Mirza Ghulam himself. So this is the practicality of the miracle. And once we label the miracle as Amal Turb, we defy the whole purpose of the miracle. You need to understand this point, Umair. Then point number 3, you said this was about being spiritually alive. Listen very carefully, Umair. Isa alayhi salam was given another miracle that was to bring dead back to life. Okay, if you want to, just for example, for sake of argument, if you label that one as spiritually becoming alive, then what is the point of this bird miracle as well? Because to bring to spiritually alive the people is already covered when Allah said that he used to bring dead back to life. Why birds? Why birds? You need to address this point. And lastly, you know, where you are saying, and many people say this, oh, this to be the Khalik, to be the creator is the attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this attribute cannot be given to any other human being. This is the point you said. Now, because my time is finished, but I still want to share my screen to mention something very important, because this point is being raised in the past as well, inshallah. Let me address this point, inshallah, once and forever. So now look at this one, which I'm gonna share now. Umair, I want you to pay extra attention. Ruhani Fazain, volume number 16. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So Ruhani Khazain, volume 16, page 55 and 56. Mirza Ghulam is quoting about himself. He says that وَأَعْتَيْتُ صِفَةُ الْأَفْنَاءِ وَالْأَحْيَاءِ مِنَ رَبِّ الْفَعَالِ. And the translation is given by Mirza himself. He says, और मुझको फानी करने और जिंदा करने की सिफ्त दी गई है, और ये सिफ्त खुदा की तरफ से मुझको मिली है. Now in English it says that, and Mirza is saying about himself, listen Umar very carefully, and I have been given the attribute of destruction and making alive, and this attribute is given to me from Allah. Ruhani Khazain, volume 16, page 55. Mirza is clearly claiming an exclusive attribute of Allah, that is to create and to destroy. Mirza said this attribute has been given to me. Now I want you to be consistent. Okay, when Allah said something about Isa alayhi salam, and you said no, we cannot attribute something divine to a human being. Okay, fair enough. How about this one? I really want you to address this point to me. It will stay on the screen, inshallah. Jazakallah khair, Imran bhai.
And then Mirza, having had these characteristics given by Allah, sifatul afna wal ahya, having had these characteristics or these abilities to destroy or bring to life, he was pleading to the British government to be kind to him, to be merciful to him, and take care of his enemies. I posted this on Twitter today. I actually posted the snap of that page on Twitter today. So everyone watching, please do check out our Twitter accounts as well, where you will see a lot of conversations taking place.
So
Twitter is also
one. Yeah. You and Imtiaz Bhai early on from the jump, in your responses, you mentioned something which I had already mentioned from the article, that word, Arabic words have multiple meanings. And the point that I made from the article was that in that context, it's only reserved for God. Now, everything else that you're diving into, like this is like obviously material that is scholarly, and my point in just coming on, first of all, just to clarify, I'm not affiliated from the Jamaat or anything. I've made this clear from when I joined. People in the chat wanted me to come on. I was responding to you guys in the chat, and they asked me to come on. That's the only reason I came on. All right. Now, what I want to say is basically, I just came on to show you that this is what we believe about this scenario. At the very least, just explain that. Give us a charitable understanding of how do we interpret this event, or what do we believe. And I wanted to show that from a layman's term, not from a scholarly or from an perspective of a scholar. So you want to like duke it out with scholars? We have teams, we have people who will deal with that, and they have been, alhamdulillah, in the past few streams. So
Okay, brother.
I just wanted to show you. That, hey, listen, we have a certain belief about this event. At least show that, And so I try to do that. I referenced it, and I did my job.
Let people decide now. Thank you so much. We are really pleased to have had a conversation with you.
One
Thank you very
question,
much.
Umair, before you leave. Just one question before you leave. So, Umair, this quotation on the screen right now, you don't have to be a scholar to answer this question. Do you believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the sifa, the attribute of destruction and to make alive to Mirza Ghulam? Do you believe this?
So again, whenever I see you do something like just a snippet of something, I always know that there's a whole page. There's pages before, pages after. So I don't want to just respond to just narrow lenses into something that someone has said. So unfortunately, I won't be able to respond to that directly.
Look at this one.
First of all, I can read Urdu. I can just to confirm I can read Urdu.
I gave you English as well, first of all. Secondly, Umair, the point is this. When somebody quotes something from the book of any author, it's not that they have to quote 10 pages. They always quote the relevant portion in which the relevant point is addressed. However, I agree with you that if sometimes people might do this, that they may quote something from somebody's book, but they may take it out of context. But look, you can clearly see Umair on the screen. There is absolutely nothing that is ambiguous. Mirza Ghulam is saying, and I'm sure you understand Urdu when somebody speaks. He said, मुझको फानी करने और जिंदा करने की सिफ्त दी गई है. और ये सिर्फ खुदा
you
की
can
तरफ
continue.
से
Let me hop off. You can continue.
और ये सिर्फ खुदा की तरफ से मुझे मिली. He says that I have been given the attribute of destruction and to give life, and this attribute has been given to me from Allah. The reason I raise this point is now you want to go and check, etc. But before that, when it comes to Isa alayhi salam, you were giving us interpretation, the meanings of halaka, how many meanings halaka has.
No, brother, I read to you a simple article. Anybody can visit it.
Umair, let me finish. This is the contrast I want to show people. When it comes to Quran, you have a lot of courage, Umair, to interpret the Quran, to give the meaning and this and that.
No, I just have the fear that we have. That's it. I don't have anything on my own.
Umair, please wait. When it comes to Mirza Ghulam, subhanallah, you are very careful. You don't want to say anything without checking everything. Subhanallah. When it comes to Quran,
because first of all, we're talking about Urdu. First of all, we're talking about something.
When it comes to when it comes to Quran, and even though you don't understand Arabic either, but you were giving us the
I don't understand Arabic.
And the lexicon and this and that.
So Umar,
wait.
Umar, calm down. Let him finish, please.
Bro, there's a lot of accusations flying back and forth. I'm supposed to shut up and just listen to it.
Okay. The conversation has been amicable. Let's keep it amicable.
This is a very
just give me. Let me hop off. You guys can continue.
This is a very typical Ahmadi tactic, that they can interpret
There's
the Quran.
No tactic here, brother.
But when it comes to the Mirza Ghulam, they want to be very careful.
No. You see, with the Quran, I can go back and forth. I could see the verses before. We have 5-volume commentary. You have all the stuff that explains it. With this, it's just your translation, which Adnan Bhai has several times confirmed that is mistaken. You mistranslated.
No, that hasn't happened.
No. I did not mistook everything. It was
Turb wasn't a mistranslation.
Umar, wait.
Can go back.
Umar, allow me to finish. Do not misrepresent what Adnan Bhai said. He said how to.
So don't misrepresent what I'm saying.
Can I complete it, Umar?
And this is exactly one second.
Adnan Bhai, is it not true?
Yes, you're absolutely right. I corrected his pronunciation not his translation. And this is
No, it
exactly
was a
what I said.
translation. The Urdu said something different.
1 second, Omer, you're starting now. Wait, yeah. Omer, you've been muted. So listen, I corrected this pronunciation in light of what Mirza himself wrote. Okay, so I told him it's not Turb, it's Turb, because this is how Mirza wrote it. Okay, so the point is, what was my point? That Qadianis are petty. They are petty. They will pick on it, and you're just picking on it now. You just proved me right. You're very petty. When you get cornered, when you get stuck, this is the game a lot of Ahmadi missionaries Qadiani missionaries start playing. Okay, Mirza here is claiming qualities that Allah gave to Isa. He denies these qualities for Isa alayhi salam and claims them for himself. And Isa is attested in the Quran. Isa alayhi salam, his miracles are attested in the Quran, while there is nothing for Mirza. So he denies these qualities, these characteristics for Isa alayhi salam, calls them Amal Turb, calls them mesmerism, hypnotism, and trickery. And then he claims for himself, وَأَعْطَيْتُ صِفَةُ الْأَفْنَى وَالْأَحْيَا مِنَ الرَّبِّ الْفَعَالِ. Okay, so he's claiming this for himself. This is absolutely shocking. And I think this is it. I think we're done with Umair. Umair, thank you so much. Okay, we'll probably have someone else come on. We had a good conversation, and I think we should.
Appreciate you coming on, Umair.